So what is geography? Geography is all about the environment and how as humans we interact with our environment. It has never been more important to study geography than it is now. As of March 2020, the total population of the world reached 7.8 billion. In the past 40 years, the world's population has almost doubled. This has had a massive effect on the Earth. Studying geography helps us to be aware of the impact that we have on our planet. In S3 and 4 geography, we study the following topics. The first one is physical environments, which is a topic that is all about natural occurring things. So for example, we look at when was the last ice age in Scotland? How did it shape our country? Why is it still important to us today? Where does our weather come from? How can we predict the weather? How does the weather influence us? And how do waves shape our coast and how do humans use the coast? Our second topic is all about human environments. So we look at how humans have an impact on the environment that we live in. So we look at why people aren't evenly spread across the world. Why do some countries have higher birth and death rates than others? How do countries control their populations? What is it like to produce food in developed and developing countries of the world? What changes are happening in the way we produce food? Is it different living in a city in a developed or a developing country? What changes are happening in our cities today? So our third topic is all about global issues, which means how do humans interact with our environment? So why is our planet heating up? What's the impact of it heating up? Can we stop it heating up? What effect does disease have on developed countries and developing countries? Can we prevent and treat these diseases? What natural disasters affect our planet? How do the disasters affect us? Can we control them? Fieldwork is a huge part of the geography course, and we want your experience to go beyond the classroom as geography is everywhere. In the past, we've visited many places, and geography is all about bringing those places into our lives and understanding how they work. So where can geography take you? Geography is useful in a variety of careers, as you can see from this slide. However, the skills that you gain in geography can be used in practically every single career you can think of. So how do you know if you want to study geography? There's 12 sentences on this slide. If you can say yes to any of them, chances are geography might be a subject you might be interested in. For example, I enjoy learning about places. I'm interested in finding ways to solve problems. I enjoy asking questions about the world in which I live in. Have a look at the 12 statements and see what you think. Geography is such an important subject, and many famous people have studied geography throughout the years, from TV presenters to naturalists to performers. Former President Barack Obama of the United States realised the importance of geography. This is what he said: "The study of geography is about more than just memorising places on a map. It's about understanding the complexity of our world, appreciating the diversity of cultures that exists across continents, and in the end, it's about using all that knowledge to help bridge divides and bring people together." Finally, check out the YouTube link below, Where Can Geography Take Me?, to find out a wee bit more about this fantastic subject. So, if you want any more information on studying geography over the next few years, speak to your geography teacher.
So why choose modern studies? Modern studies helps you understand important issues around the world in the present day. So we look into issues and current events that have happened around the world over the past 10 years. You will also gain an understanding of social issues such as crime, politics and international issues. You will also have the chance to develop your research skills in a research assignment. So what topics will be covered? In S3 and S4 Modern Studies, the topics that will be covered are crime in the law, where we look into things like the roles of the police, the Scottish court systems, causes and impact of crime, crimes that have been committed, and different laws like on alcohol and drugs. Then we have democracy in Scotland, where we look into the Scottish Parliament, the roles of MSPs and the First Minister, representation and participation, and the Scottish elections. With our world issue of the USA, we look into politics of the powers of the President and the US government, and we also look at social issues such as education, poverty and healthcare. In S4, you'll find out what national level you will be sitting, and you'll find out more about this on the next slide. So if you're put forward for National 4 Modern Studies, this is what you can expect. So at National 4, you will study the 3 topics that were outlined previously, so the crime and the law, democracy in Scotland, and the world issue of the USA. In National 4, you'll also complete a research assignment called an added value unit, where you will research a modern studies topic of your choice. And in National 4, there is no exam, but you will need to pass outcomes on all 3 topics to be able to pass your National 4 level. So at National 5, you'll also study these 3 topics: crime and the law, democracy in Scotland, and the world issue, the USA. At National 5, you will also complete a research assignment called the added value unit, where you will research a modern studies topic of your choice. At National 5, you will complete 1 exam paper and an SQA exam at the end of S4.
Religious, moral and philosophical studies can be taken as a certificated subject. In this course, it's split into 3 different units. The first unit is world religion, and the learner will be looking at Islam, and they will be able to describe and comment on the meaning and context of sources related to Islam. They will also be able to develop a knowledge and understanding of the impact of significance of the religion today. The second unit that we look at is morality and belief, specifically looking at religion and conflict, and in this unit, learners will develop skills to describe and explain views about contemporary moral issues in regards to war. They will develop knowledge and understanding of the responses made by both religious and secular groups to this issue. And in the third unit, religious and philosophical questions, existence of God. In this unit, candidates study the issues raised by religious questions, and with these questions, candidates will study both sides of the argument. In RMPS, there'll be different learning experiences throughout the course, each with different types of activities. Assessment will also take place, which will also help with the understanding of the course. Career value of RMPS. In the world of work, employers do look for people with inquiring minds and appreciation of different viewpoints, and these are all developed within RMPS.
When you pick history in S3 in Coatbridge High School, for the whole of the S3 year, we study the topic called the Era of the Great War. Now, the Era of the Great War, we study that by beginning to look at the background to why the war called the First World War, the Great War, how it began, and the long routes to that going on between the rivalries between Germany and Britain, Austria-Hungary, France, Russia, all these countries together, and how they start to form alliances against each other. So we look at the long-term roots of why the war begins, but we also look at things like the immediate impact that led to the war starting, and most notably the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. As we go into the topic further, we look at why, when the war starts, when the United Kingdom goes into the war, why in particular young men from Scotland signed up for the armed forces. Then we look at the experiences in places like the Western Front in France and Belgium, where these Scottish soldiers went and fought in the British Army, and we look at the nature of trench warfare, and the weapons that were used, like tanks, gas, artillery and machine guns, and also aeroplanes. We look at the warfare, but we also look at the domestic impact that the war has on Britain, and we focus in on, because it's a Scottish topic, we focus particularly on the impact on Scotland and how the war shaped people's lives at that time. Most notably things like the impact on the Defence of the Realm Act and things like conscription and rationing that were brought in. But we also look at the effect that the war had on women in society too, and how that helped towards women getting the vote, some women getting the vote after in 1918. So we look at the Western Front with the war and the nature of the war, but we look at the home front with the domestic impact. Further on the domestic impact, we also look at things like the impact on politics and the impact on industry. And, you know, in relation to the politics side, we look at things like in Glasgow, the Red Clydeside movement in 1919 and the years before. But also we look at, you know, the decline of some of the industries after the war has finished. So as we go through and learn about those, just some of those examples I've given you in relation to the S3 Era of the Great War topic, as we go through we also learn different historical skills so that we can use that knowledge appropriately as historians. These skills are called the describe, explain, the to what extent, how fully, source comparison and evaluate skills. And these 6 skills are broken up between skills that are non-source and source-based questions, and eventually by the end of S3 you will be able to demonstrate your knowledge in an assessment on that. So the balance between learning the content knowledge of the Great War and the First World War, but also learning the skills, is the nature of how the S3 course and the Era of the Great War topic plays out. Once you get to the end of S3 and you've completed your history course at Coatbridge High School, and after studying all those very interesting things that I've mentioned already, from the Western Front to the Home Front to the battles and the weapons and the trench warfare and why the war started, as you move into S4, there's 2 topics to study that are connected to that S3 learning that you did. We move on from it being a Scottish topic from S3 to being a British topic in the first half of S4, and that British topic is called the Atlantic slave trade. And then, in the second half of the S4 year, the European and world topic will be studied, and that is called Nazi Germany. So, just for a longer term view, and when you pick S3 history, that they will be connected to what you study in an S4, and by the end of your S4, you'll have studied 3 topics. The Era of the Great War, the Scottish topic, the Atlantic slave trade, the British topic, and Nazi Germany, the European and world topic. Thank you for taking the time to read through and listen to this PowerPoint presentation. I hope it goes a long way in helping you to decide to study history in S3 at Coatbridge High School, and we look forward to having you in our classes. Thanks again, take care.